Hey guys, Dr. Price here today. Today's post I wanted to talk about a simple technique that I learned a long time ago about how to control cravings or to control our desires to eat foods that may not be the healthiest choices for us. And I learned this a long time ago from Anthony Robbins. And for those of you who don't know who Anthony Robbins is, he is a self-help personal development guru. I mean, the man is phenomenal. And one of the techniques that I learned from him a long time ago is you take a food, for example, let's say that pizza is your weakness. And you take this pizza and you hold it. It's better if you have the actual food with you, but you hold the pizza close to you where you can smell it. You can, actually physically have a physical interaction with this while you're doing it. And you imagine this pizza and you imagine it and then you say to yourself, okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being this is the best food I've ever eaten, 1 being, it's kind of neutral, I don't really want it. Where would you rate this? All right, let's say you rate it at a 7. So then you think to yourself, okay, well, what would make it better? What would make it get it up to a 9? What qualities would get it up to 9? You imagine, if it's extra cheese or if it's adding onions to it or tomatoes or whatever it is that adds that quality of value to it, to where you really, really want that pizza and it's really like at a 10. Or at a 9, and then you do it again to get it up to a 10. So you keep adding these qualities to it to where it's like you're just really, really ravenous and you really want this pizza. And what you'll notice happening is that as you go through the mental processes of adding qualities to the pizza that make it more desirable to you, that you will actually start desiring the pizza. Well, what this does is it kind of tells you that there's definitely a brain-body connection, because your brain is imagining something that is not there, and your body is having a physiological response, either an increase in the appetite for it, your mouth starts drooling, you start feeling like you're starving, you just want to dive into that pizza. So then once you've done that, now you utilize the technique in the opposite. Okay, so now you got it at a 10. Well, what would it take to get the pizza down to, say, a 3 out of 10? So you imagine, maybe it's been sitting there for a couple of hours and, it's cooled off and the cheese is kind of starting to harden up a little bit, and you still want it, but it's just not as appealing. So then you take it from a 3 down to a 1, where you're getting to where you just don't want this thing. So you start imagining that maybe that the fat from the cheese and from the grease that cooked it is starting to congeal on the top of it, and it's been sitting there now for about several hours. So it's, the smell, you get a little bit leery of the smell. And, and while you're doing this, you're sitting there and you're holding this pizza and you're looking at this pizza, and you'll start noticing, and I can even feel it while I'm saying this, you'll start noticing that your desire for the pizza starts to go away. In fact, it kind of starts getting a little repulsive. So then what you do is you take it beyond that. Now you want to take it to the point where it nauseates you. So you take this pizza and now what would it take to get it to a -4? So then you imagine that, it's been sitting there now, it's been sitting there for about 2 or 3 days, and there's some mold starting to grow on it, and, it's starting to smell kind of rancid, and the congealed fat is now just a white curd on top of it, and you just get to where you just really, it's starting to repulse you a little bit. You just really want to get this pizza away. Now you're still holding this pizza while you're doing it. So you do this and you'll feel like this repulsion. I can feel right now my stomach just kind of churning a little bit, like, ugh, I just really don't want that pizza. Well, then how do you get it to a -10? It's a month old. There is mold all over this thing. It reeks, it's smelling up your entire house. The meat has fur on it. The tomatoes have taken on that rotted, acidic look where they've turned brown and they've caved in on each other, and it's just this slimy mess. And somebody came and poured sewer water on it. Whatever you have to do to get this pizza down to a -10, you do it. And you do it while you're holding the pizza. And then what will end up happening is you'll have such a strong negative neuroassociation to this pizza that you'll find yourself not wanting it. I mean, right now I don't want any pizza. But you'll find yourself not wanting it. And you'll find that the smell will trigger this neuroassociative response. And you'll find that the look of it and the feel of it will trigger that. And you'll find that you really don't want that food anymore. You can do this with French fries. I've done it before with soda. I imagine the soda just being hot and it's just the syrup and the smell of the syrup. I mean, just different things like that. But there are different things that you can do to get to where you just really, really don't want this food. And it makes it easier for you to avoid that food. It makes it easier for you to not necessarily crave that food, because all a craving is a psychological and a mental response to a trigger. For example, if you're driving down the road and let's say you like McDonald's, I'm just going to throw this out there. I was using this example with Phoenix the other day. You're driving down the road and you see a billboard for McDonald's and they've got a Big Mac on there and you love Big Macs. Well, you see that Big Mac and it triggers a process in your brain, and all of a sudden you're like, Big Mac look kind of good. Yeah, I'm feeling a little bit hungry. And then you start imagining the good smell of the Big Mac and the good smell of the French fries and the taste of the Coke when you get it and how it all mixes in your mouth. You start this whole mental process and you work yourself up into a craving, and before you know it, you're going through McDonald's getting yourself a Big Mac when you weren't even hungry when you're driving down the road thinking about stress at work or something like that. So there's a trigger. There's usually an emotional trigger followed by a process that we go through mentally. And if you can establish and recognize what that process is, and you can recognize when it's triggered and recognize it when it's first starting to happen, and then replace that process with what we just talked about as far as taking the food down to a -10, you can end those cravings and you can get rid of that desire for that food. Now, there are a lot of great philosophers and a lot of educators and a lot of great teachers that I read and study, and many of them say that the toughest thing for a person to control is themselves, and the toughest part of themselves for them to control is their mind and their thoughts. It's the easiest physical thing to control, but it's the toughest actual process to do. That's what a true master can do, is control their mind. And that's where this gets kind of hairy. You lose track, you forget about it, you forget to run your trigger, you forget to run the process of running this food down the negative scale. You end up going and getting the food without thinking about it. You go back into your old habits and then you're right back there again. So you have to create new habits, you have to create new processes, and you have to create a new identity behind these processes. Skinny people think skinny. Skinny people live skinny. It's not an effort for them for the most part. Heavier people, they think and act like heavier people. I gained this weight, honestly, by changing my identity to someone who did not work out. I was talking to a patient today and I realized I have not worked out in over a year. And I've never done that before. I mean, it's been many years since I've skipped working out for a year. I might do a spontaneous workout here and there, but I never did anything that stuck with it in this past year. And so I became a person that doesn't work out. I became a person that pretty much ate what I wanted. I became a person that when my pregnant wife was craving a soda, I went and got us sodas, and now I drink soda. I became the person that I didn't want to be because I didn't challenge myself emotionally and mentally. And I actually moved into focusing on other areas of life. So I'm taking that back. I'm tired of it. I'm turning 40 tomorrow, and I can't hit my 40s living like this, because you don't live too long when you live a lifestyle like this. So anyway, probably too much information. Probably shouldn't be throwing that at you, but I think that you guys deserve to know that yes, I'm in the healthcare profession, but we go through the same challenges you do. Anytime you see somebody who has achieved a goal, whether it's physical or financial or whatever goal it is, just realize we all go through the same challenges. One of my mentors, Dan Kennedy, always says that whether you make $30,000 a day, or $30,000 a year, or $3 million a year, when you come home at the end of the night, you got the same problems. The dog pooped on the carpet, and who's going to clean it up? It's just, I guess, when you got $3 million a year, you can hire somebody to clean it up and then get the carpets clean. But we all have the same problems, we all have the same challenges, and what matters is what we become because of those challenges. Our greatest challenges become our greatest testimonials, and that's how we can grow in life. So, sorry for getting a little philosophical on you, but I just want to kind of throw this out at you. I hope you try this technique. I hope it works for you. As always, I hope that you take control of your health before your health takes control of you. The massage program is just exploding phenomenally. All of the therapists and myself, we're all here. We've all got your back. So you guys take care, and we'll see you on the next post. Have a great day. Bye-bye.